I'm J.R. Hendrick, and this episode is EA70. God's approval matters on Empower Your Pattern 2.0. Hi, I'm Jimmy Hendrick, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Success, Confidence, and Thrive Coach. I wish to let you know that there are patterns to help you receive more, help you live a better and extraordinary life right now. I also believe that there are spiritual and temporal tips to help you overcome the adversities in everyday life. So if you come with me, I will show you these patterns. Get ready. Let's go. Hello guys, welcome here to my writer's man cave here at the ranch. I'm pleased here to talk to you guys about something. You know, off and on, we've discussed about faith, and to be honest with you, I think it's been a long time coming. Be honest with you, I think this should have taken place before the wrap-up, but Jimmy designed this thing before I did, and so we're just going to go ahead and get with it. And he talks about faith, and that's the important thing that matters. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go with for about 7 minutes for the first part. You ain't going to get your parents' full approval this side of heaven, so give it up. And don't get me wrong, I think your parents love you, okay? Your parents love you, there's nothing wrong with that. But let's face it, there's going to be something about you that's going to drive your parents crazy. You may have a daddy wants you to be a lawyer to represent his company. You don't want that for your life. That's fine. And you may want a mama. Wants you to act all quiet and gentlemanly like most of the time. I ain't got no problem with that. Sometimes gotta live a little. However, for the sake of this show, I'm going to be more gentlemanly-like. Now, I'm not saying hate your parents. I'm not saying hate your parents. But let's face it. The approval of God and Jesus Christ is what should matter more importantly than the approval you could seek from your parents. Because for many of us, 9 times out of 10, we ain't going to get that. Especially if we come up from a family that may have some element of dysfunction. Through no fault of our own. You know. Unless for some crazy sick reason you might be part of the dark triad. We're going to leave that alone. But you ain't going to get your parents' full approval. You might as well just give that up. You're wishing on a chicken bone. This is a lesson I had to learn a long time before I could teach Jimmy to sink it in. Because Jimmy knows. He knows now he ain't going to get his parents' full approval. So, you know what? He just moves on. Shoot, we're both 53. So, we got to move on. That's part of building an enterprise. And, you know, I could sit down and recount the number of episodes that we've had to deal with these certain issues. Approval and self-worth. And it all boils down to faith, right? So, we ain't going to get our parents' approval. No matter how hard they try, you know, we're going to find some little thing to pick at you. It reminds you of certain things that you didn't do, or that you should do. There's therapists that tell people that there's too many shoulds and not rules in society that ain't gonna help you anywhere. You ain't gonna get approval from that. So, ladies, gentlemen, if you're looking for approval of your daddy and your mama, you ain't gonna get it totally. Oh, they'll tell you how much they love you and everything, and maybe you'll have a common bond. That's no doubt. But here's one thing you need to know, is that you may not necessarily get your parents or your family's approval, but the approval that's going to help you through that is the approval that God gives you, just by being close to Him. I'm just going to tell you it is how it is. And I'm glad Jimmy's giving me the chance to come out and play these past few episodes, because I've totally and thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's sad sometimes sometimes in your adulthood, you want your parents' approval, but you realize you ain't going to get it. Well, once you get that reality set in the way, listen to me. It won't sound difficult, but you're freed. You're freed. Don't you want to be free? Listen on JR, don't you want to be free? Don't you want to know that as you get closer to God and get closer to Jesus Christ, you're going to have full approval? You are. Well, think about it. Jesus Christ died for your sins and sorrows. And then he yesterday, Easter, 2,000 years ago, he rose from the grave so that we could all live again. Now, if that ain't approval, I don't know what is. Seriously. Because we all struggle. And since we all struggle, we know sometimes things can be difficult. And so some of this is actually for Jimmy. I'm taking over for Jimmy because this is some areas he needs help in. And he gave me approval to approve of this message. Now, we go into the second part. And this ain't going to be any easier for some of you either. But get ready. Number 2. You ain't going to get a former spouse back with full approval. This fantasy on steroids. Now, this is for Jimmy or anybody else who may be feeling remorse for what happened in your past marriage. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to tell you get over it. You get through it somehow. Why don't you try channeling it through creativity? And Jim learned that through his friend Rob Jones, the founder of Bizarre Leadership. You ain't gonna get a former girlfriend. You ain't gonna get a former spouse. All of them to come back and get your approval. Well, let me ask you something anyway. If you're single, and maybe you've had a variety of dating partners, I'm not saying give up, but I'm saying if you find a collection of them that you've been interested in, for some reason you've got some defect of some sort, and they decide they don't want you. Let me tell you something, that's not on you. That's on them. The good news is on that, Jimmy is learning to move on. I have years ago. Because let me tell you something. You got to learn sometimes to roll through the punches and to just give it up on your lives to people from the past, the people that you might be strongly in love with. They don't love you or they don't want you for some stupid reason. Do you want those people hanging around you? You might as well just have yourself bound and gagged up and put somewhere to die. Cause that's fantasy on steroids. You don't need that. Alright? One's approval that matters the most to me, and any of us is God's. Say you're trying to find a mate this side of heaven, and you can't. And maybe it hurts. Get close to God, He'll give you what you need. Now, I can't answer for everybody in from other religions, but as Latter-day Saints, me and Jimmy believe that if you don't find someone in this life, it'll happen in the eternities. And Jimmy, of course, believes in his heart. In many ways, it's already happened. He's moved on. So to expect a romantic partner to fully fulfill you and approve you, you're wishing for Pollyanna. You're pretending like you're sitting in heaven, and some hot little pretty thing is going to hand you a piece of manna, and you just be with manna and wine. You're just going to be happy for forever after. That's a pipe dream. That's panacea. That's fantasy on steroids. Give that up. It ain't worth your time. All right. I told you I was going to come out and play. Well, especially this one. This one is important because you expecting a partner, a romantic partner, to fulfill you and give you all the approval you need. No, it's not going to happen. 9 times out of 10, if you're looking for that, you're looking for your heart to get stomped on. Let me give you a piece of advice from old JR. Don't get your heart stomped on. I know how that feels. That hurts. You know? You're going through a divorce. Maybe your heart feels like it's broken, shattered into a million pieces. Like you don't think you can ever get it back together. Trust me, at some point, you will. And whether you find somebody in this life, well, it all depends on what you decide. But let me tell you something. You need to trust in the Lord. You need to understand the big part of it all. Because see, here's the thing here. You can't expect parents to give you full approval, and you can't expect a romantic partner to give you full approval. Because those things don't happen. And you need to wake up and see these realities. I know. It's tough. But don't sit there and bemoan your life and think that you don't have anybody. And nobody cares. Because let me tell you something. God cares more than anybody. When nobody else is around, He loves you. He loves you with an everlasting love, and don't you ever forget it. Whoever is your higher power loves you, and you know that. Whether it's God or the universe, those of you in Pat around, you know where me and Jimmy stand. We believe in God and Jesus Christ. But other people, they have a right to, we believe, as Latter-day Saints, that people have a right to believe however they want. And that's just how it is. And let me tell you something. I know, for some degree, I might tick somebody off. Well, we don't need your approval. We don't need your approval. And this is the beauty here. For about 6 minutes here, we're going to cover this last part here. Alright? Because let me tell you something. As long as you're in Christ, or your higher power, that's all the approval you need. And you're not necessarily going to find the perfect friend to approve you either. I mean, find quality friends. If you don't got friends that don't approve anything of all that you do, go find you some new friends. But let me tell you something. God's approval is what matters most. Alright? I want you to think about it. I want you to think about that. I want you to turn on your winning stakes. Realize you got them from God. If you're an enterprising person, that enterprising person, that personality was given to you by God. That's the most important part there. Let me tell you something. If you're suffering, old JR is with you. He's with you. I'm here for the downtrodden. I'm here to bless those that are suffering. That's the important part there. And that's why I'm here. God's approval matters most. More than your friends, more than your family, more than you might find from a romantic partner. And that's a truth. Now, Jimmy's got some final words. One more thing. Many of you know that we are, with episode 70, we don't have too much longer. By the end of the month, end of this month, beginning of next month, we are going to be in the series finale of Enterprise in America. And I want to ask you guys to pray for me that God gives me guidance and approval on how I do this finale. Because I want to get everything that has been built together, maybe not always totally from the beginning, but enough knowledge from since I joined ACN, and especially since the Elevate Convention this March. The knowledge I've gained and everything, I want it to be a total build-up then. And we also know that as of tomorrow's episode, we begin to ratchet up to the golden series of this whole series called mini-series of this whole series called The Big Prize. So I'm hoping that you guys find this a blessing, and please do know that if you're suffering, and maybe you need some approval, maybe you're lonely, please understand this, okay? God's approval does matter. He cares about you. And we at Pattern Realm, we care about you too. And God bless you. Now, I hope you enjoy listening to Empower Your Pattern 2.0. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Become a part of the... Wait, we're not done here yet. I'm sorry, guys. Please forgive me. I keep forgetting. Listen to me, folks. I do care about you. If you're battling loneliness, we're here. I'm here. I care about you. Wanting to be a success, wanting to be a top-notch entrepreneur, many times that's a lonely journey. Sometimes it involves a lot of hurt. And I know it does. But you know, the blessing is, guys, whatever it is, we can overcome it. We can overcome it. And I want you guys to know I love you. No one else is going to tell you that. No, I love you. And now, I hope you enjoy listening to Empower Your Pattern 2.0. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of Pattern Realm. Until next time, don't just sit there and take it. Build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can be what others won't. And do what others won't so you can step up, step out, step up, and step into how others can. Choose, act, and pursue happiness. God bless each and every one of you. This is Jimi Hendrick saying God bless you, and I love you.